Hey guys, you're watching Tech Edit. My name is Basil and this is the reMarkable Paper Pro, an e-ink tablet with a pared back experience for distraction-free note-taking. That's what reMarkable says, but what's the reality like? A week ago I posted my 72-hour impressions. It's been a while since then, so my impressions have matured a fair bit, and also you guys have asked a lot of questions. So in this video, I'll be giving you those matured impressions while also trying to answer your questions so you can decide once and for all whether this tablet is right for you or whether you should be looking at some of the more affordable competition or indeed its predecessor, the reMarkable 2. I'll dive into all the details in a second, but before I do, a quick shout out to our sponsor. If you're watching this video, there's a very good chance that you too are a techie, someone with a phone, a laptop, a tablet, maybe even a second phone. I know with my old VPN, every time I activated it on one device, I'd get kicked off another and it was incredibly frustrating. But Surfshark supports unlimited devices, which for me is priceless because doing what I do, I change my phone every few days. Now, I need a VPN because I travel a lot with work. I'm always on public Wi-Fi networks and I want to keep my IP address and browsing data private. Plus, with 24/7 support and a 30-day money-back guarantee, you're only going to be committing to Surfshark if you like the service. And when you do come to sign up, if you use the code TechEdit, you can get 4 months free on a 12 or 24-month plan. All the details in the description below. Back to the reMarkable Paper Pro, and this video is going to be split into sections: design, screen, note-taking, etc. All of those will be separated in the timeline for easy navigation for you guys. So I'm going to kick off with the design. The first commenter, MBSGT112, wants to know about a few things, but I'm going to focus on the durability aspect. The new reMarkable Paper Pro has a unibody design. reMarkable says it's easier to repair. I reached out to reMarkable's PR team and you still have to send it in, so this isn't self-repairable, but it is, like they said, easier to repair, so hopefully that'll reduce cost of repair, reduce waste, and also reduce repair time. I'll have to wait to find out. Peter Chu wants to know what the weight of the device is with the Type Folio and the Book Folio. I connected the pen in all of these situations, and the Type Folio pen and reMarkable Paper Pro weighs 1,035 grams. And the reMarkable Paper Pro with the Book Folio and pen weighs 823 grams, so just a little bit less than the Paper 2 with the Type Folio. If you just want to carry the tablet and pen around with you, that is a relatively light 545 grams, and that does include the pen. Next, Arthur asks, can you use the tablet left-handed? And Corwin actually responded to this, saying that there is a left-handed mode within all reMarkable tablets. However, just bear in mind the pen will still stow on the right-hand side. So that's all of the design elements, and generally the design gets a massive thumbs up. I said this in my 72 hours. I would have really liked a fingerprint scanner on here to make it a smoother experience getting in securely rather than having that passcode that I have to enter every time. But aside from that, which isn't even a design point, it's more a biometrics point, I've just got no real complaints about the reMarkable Paper Pro's styling. Onto the display, and I have to put my hand up and say in my 72-hour video I called it a backlight. It is actually, of course, a front light. Many people corrected me and I'm grateful to be corrected, to be honest, because I'm never going to claim to know everything. Some of you were super gracious about it, also complimenting other aspects of the video. Others were a little bit more prickly, suggesting that perhaps I don't know anything at all. Either way, grateful to be corrected, and now I can confirm 100% I will be using the term front light going forward. One of those commenters, Scott Becker, actually bought and returned their Paper Pro because the color input was too sluggish and the front light was too low. I actually didn't have a problem with either. The color input is relatively sluggish, but I don't use color very much as I predominantly black and white note take, but then also read already colorful comics and stuff like that. And when you're turning pages, the refreshing is quite clean. There is a flickering, but that didn't get on my nerves at all. So For my use, the front light was perfectly bright enough in the dark and in environments I was using it in. I was typing in a conference center, I had to fire up the front light, and it was plenty bright enough. And actually that brings me on to my next point, a question from Justin Cordeal about color, asking if it was better than the BOOX tablet. The BOOX tablet is better when you've got that front light ramped up, but for me that kind of defeats the point of an e-ink tablet when you don't have that front light on. The reMarkable Paper Pro has superior contrast ratios for black and white, which is very important because I read a lot of black and white monochrome stuff, but also color as well. So if you're happy with the front light on, then definitely get a BOOX tablet or indeed a standard tablet. But if you want to have that front light off more for reading and also read a lot of plain text, I do prefer the reMarkable Paper Pro's display. Having said that, if you mainly read black and white text and aren't fussed on color, you are still better off with a much cheaper Kindle Scribe or another monochrome black and white e-ink slate because they will have better contrast ratios. MAGOST had a question about ghosting specifically in comics, so I'm swiping through pages and I'm going to keep doing that while covering this section. The ghosting didn't bug me at all in comics. What did was when you rub out colored sections, it does leave a pretty unsightly yellow hue. Looks kind of like a highlighter or a stain. I don't know if you ever had those pens when you were in school that you could erase the ink from a fountain pen but it left a yellow splodge. It's kind of like that, but once the reMarkable Paper Pro does a full refresh, that does disappear. But it's just one point to note with regards to ghosting. Otherwise, I actually found the Paper Pro to be cleaner than most other e-ink tablets for ghosting, but there is more flickering here with every change. Mike Thomas, Mike Rathmel and MBS GT all want to know about pixel density, clarity, etc. The reMarkable Paper Pro has basically the same pixel density or dots per inch actually as the reMarkable 2. It's a bigger tablet. Typically bigger tablets have lower dots per inch because you're holding them a little bit further away. So if you are coming from a reMarkable 2 and are happy with that, your experience, your real experience on this is probably going to be a little bit better because you won't need to hold it as close to your face necessarily. Having said that, if you do want the sharpest e-ink tablet around, then this isn't it. BaseBase9175 wants to know, is this good enough for academic journals? And it is a heck yes. The comics I'm flicking through are up to a gigabyte in size, maybe even a bit more, and it's chewing through them without too much sweating. So if your academic journals are around that or less, and by the way, these are PDF format, you're going to be absolutely fine with the Paper Pro. Mia wants to know if EPUBs are supported on the reMarkable Paper Pro, and they absolutely are, though you just want to make sure they're DRM free. Beth Other wants to know if the reMarkable Paper Pro is good for sheet music, and while technically it really should be because it's a great size, because it's a color screen, the contrast ratio is a little bit lower, so it isn't ideal in that respect, and also you have some issues with responsiveness after periods of inactivity, so by the end of the page when you come to turn, it might not register a finger and require a couple of swipes, which could throw you off your game if you're playing piano, for example. So as a result, while on paper it looks like it should be great, in reality at this stage, unless reMarkable updates it to improve responsiveness, I probably wouldn't recommend it for music. El Master wants to know if when you're in an EPUB or something you can fire up a dictionary, and the answer is no. Tro wants to know if you can use your Calibre library on the reMarkable Paper Pro. Now, if you don't know what Calibre is, it's a really great EPUB management system available for Mac, Windows, Linux, etc. Now, the answer is yes and no. You can access your Calibre books, remove them from Calibre or get them in a file and then transfer them across, but you can't directly through Calibre sync your library with the reMarkable Paper Pro. Speaking of Calibre, Eddie Gardner wants to know if you can access your Kindle Boox on your Paper Pro. The answer is no, technically. You can't install the Kindle app. You'd need an Android tablet like a BOOX tablet in order to sideload or just install that APK. Having said that, if you do use Calibre, you can use it to remove the DRM legally if it's legal where you are, which it probably isn't, and then transfer that EPUB, which doesn't have a DRM, onto the Paper Pro, and that should work. Big Chill wants to know about battery performance, and after I found it was draining a little bit more quickly when I was first using it, I then put the question to reMarkable, and they actually said it wasn't so much the front light, which does obviously contribute to battery drain. It's more because I was using it for typing a lot. The typing requires a refresh of the e-ink panel, and that's what caused the quicker battery drain I was experiencing. reMarkable defines its battery claim of 2 weeks by 1 hour of note-taking every day, which isn't really aligned with how I use my tablet, because I use the keyboard folio a lot more. So do bear that in mind. If you are a heavy keyboard user, you may end up with 50% battery by the afternoon like I did. What's really cool is that reMarkable's response to my battery query was really specific. I told them I hit 50% by the afternoon. They told me that's the equivalent of 4 hours non-stop typing, and they probably weren't wrong. Add some front light into the mix as well. Having said that, as a journalist, 4 hours of non-stop typing is pretty much like where I'm at by midday. So do just bear that in mind if you're getting this thing for battery life and you plan on typing a lot. Since then, I've tried some days with note taking and the battery has gone down so slowly. So it really is a use case scenario type situation. More impressive still is the fact that reMarkable confirmed it drains by around 1% a day in standby mode. So if you forget this thing on, you don't fully power it off, you can come to it weeks later and you'll still have plenty of juice to last a full day, provided you're not doing hours and hours of typing. One of the questions I was asked most is, will the reMarkable paper work with another stylus? Whether it's that for the reMarkable 2, no. Samsung Galaxy Note, no. Or Kindle Scribe, no. But it does adopt the USI standard of active styli. And as a result, it will work with some other styli. It just probably won't be as accurate as demonstrated on Kit's Q&A video, which I'll link through to above. You can check out a lot more reMarkable Paper Pro videos over there. They are an e-ink expert, so definitely worth watching. As a result, I probably would recommend getting either the reMarkable Marker Plus or the standard marker. I've got the Plus with the eraser around the back, which just saves me going into tapping that erase button. It's more intuitive. It is more expensive though. Ray now wants to know, is the Marker and Marker Plus tip more durable this time around? I'm going to give my best guess that it's a heck yes. I don't know for sure, obviously. I've not been using this for months, and you definitely wouldn't expect to see much wear after a week. However, the reMarkable 2's marker was very quick to wear. I went through a lot of nibs, and some commenters also mentioned theirs completely broke. Mine didn't, but I can definitely say this seems like it's a lot more robust and durable. And the active stylus just feels very comfortable in the hand, a good weighting to it, and the flat side just very comfortable to grip. So generally I'm a big fan of the Marker and Marker Plus's look, feel, and first impression durability. Hole 386 left the insightful comment, still a laggy mess I see. Welcome to e-ink. Well, kind of. I mean, not all e-ink is laggy, and this definitely isn't laggy. The latency for writing and note-taking, which is what I use it for the most, is super responsive, but the flickering is noticeable. The benefit is there. You get zingier colors, and when the front light's off, also being color e-ink, you have better contrast ratio than other color e-ink tablets. You need to put on front lights for them when you don't necessarily with this. Like I said before, there are a lot of nuances here, but I definitely didn't find this to be a laggy mess in my time with it. Sloppy left a couple of insightful comments. The first is just begrudging the fact that reMarkable's moved away from the Wacom standard, but then also they want to know about exporting your files from here. They were complaining that historically they've been pretty low resolution. I'm really happy to report that I could export or email an SVG file, which is like 1.3 megabytes or something. I could input it into Adobe Illustrator, and then I could have it as a malleable vector. What was really interesting about that file is that every stroke was 2 layers. One layer was a little bit smoother, one layer was scratchier. I definitely didn't love how exporting stuff from here looks if you're using the pencil, and that makes me feel like I won't be using this for digital art myself. I'd much rather use a tablet like the Huawei MatePad or indeed the iPad, for example, only because you get a much cleaner looking finish, but for sketching, quick sketching, and visualizing ideas, I really will keep using the reMarkable, and I'm glad to know I can export stuff from here onto a computer via SVG and edit it further in Illustrator. Public name 515 asks, does it have infinite canvas? The answer is no. You're still looking at linear pages this time around as well. Goran Jurin makes some really insightful observations around text entry, asking if it's a little bit richer with the type folio than it was in the past, and unfortunately, barely. You can now have a wide or a narrow column, but it's still a linear single text block per page. You can have bullet points, you can have bold text headings, etc., but it just isn't malleable enough for me. I kind of love OneNote insofar as I can have multiple text blocks, so create a kind of text mind map simultaneously. Goran, you referenced Scrivener because you like writing books. You love a book kind of like writing solution in this format. I don't blame you, because the hardware is excellent here, but the software is definitely wanting for that kind of requirement. Nevertheless, I was at IFA. I fired this up on a press conference going on in front of me. Really few distractions within the tablet itself, which I always get sucked into on my computer, and I powered through an article very quickly. So there are definite benefits to the simplicity here, but it will be too limited for more advanced text entry. Omaru asks if you can use the reMarkable 2 folio for the reMarkable Paper Pro, specifically the type folio. The answer is no, they are very different sizes, so they won't work. Connected to Nature wants to know about file management on the reMarkable Paper Pro, and the easiest way to do this is through the application. If you aren't okay with cloud syncing and all of that stuff, or you don't have internet, you can also do this via USB cable. There's a web-based interface on your computer. You just get the URL from the tablet, punch that in, and you can access a reMarkable interface through the browser that you can import files through. Classic Appetite asks if there's a folder structure on here that you can take advantage of. Yeah, you can have multiple layers of folders. It's pretty easy going. Alf CNZ asks, can you select text in an EPUB or PDF? Unfortunately, you can't. They also want to know if Dropbox syncing is available without a subscription. I believe it is, as I have got a subscription. I can't confirm that for sure, but I'm pretty sure now all of the cloud syncing services are available without a Connect subscription. If you do require one, that is $2.99 a month if you're in the UK, or $3.99 I believe if you're in the US. 11 the Crane had a really great question in 2 parts. The first part was, did I buy this? And the answer is no. I'm a journalist. I'm reviewing this for T3, a website and magazine here in the UK. And so reMarkable sent it to me. Obviously, having this channel, I'm also featuring it on here. The second part is, if I didn't buy it, would I buy it? And the answer is, it entirely depends on my financial situation. And so as a result, like, yes, I love the fact it can dial out distractions, reduce kind of like the digital noise that I'm constantly bombarded by when I review tablets, laptops, smartphones. This is perfect for that, but it ain't cheap. And the reMarkable 2, if I don't need color, is significantly cheaper. And I've been using that just fine. I do love the fact I can read comic books on here, I can enjoy books in color, and I can highlight. My favorite thing about reMarkable is that make me choose them over Kindle Scribes and even Onyx books is that I can access my notes and annotate on the page much more easily. And with regards to BOOX devices, they have like quite old versions of Android, and so I'm quite reticent to put all of my personal data on there, my Gmail, but of course I still do anyway. And then I've got my Gmail on there, and then that's pinging me Gmail. So this is just a really pared back system that does a lot of the things I need it to do. Now a lot more things I wanted to do, better for reading, for example, and at the base level, you've got excellent note-taking performance. DW30 and Dope Gotti wants to know if their grandfather, their existing reMarkable Connect subscriptions that they got for free back in the day will extend to this bad boy. And based on my experience, the answer is definitely yes. If you already have a reMarkable Connect subscription, I believe I read in one of the comments it's supported across up to 3 devices, but I can just confirm from first-hand experience that it works across my reMarkable 2 and Paper Pro. Fernando wants to know, can you use your reMarkable Paper Pro as a monitor for your phone, laptop, tablet? You definitely cannot. Similarly, Olamstaden wants to know, can you connect an external keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard even? The answer is no. And Alfonso asks, can you plug in an external flash drive? And yet again, the answer is no. All the connectivity is very limited to within reMarkable's controlled ecosystem that I spoke about earlier. Papawawa, which is a very fun name to say, asks if I prefer reMarkable's solution over that of BOOX and who I'd recommend which to. Definitely if you're a Kindle user and all you're doing is reading, I'd recommend the Kindle Scribe. If you really like annotating your pages, that's when the Kindle Scribe, which requires sticky notes, which I personally kind of hate, is going to the side, and that's when the reMarkable and BOOX tablets step in. The BOOX runs Android, and as a result you've got unlimited app support. It's really great for streaming applications like Shonen Jump for manga, Marvel Unlimited for standard comics, etc. So if you love those streaming applications, I say streaming, but I mean streaming reading apps like the Netflix of comics, etc., then a BOOX tablet is the only way to go, because you can't get those applications on the reMarkable Paper Pro. But if you find the busy interface of the BOOX tablets just too busy, and you have that kind of desire to step away from that connectivity, then the reMarkable Paper Pro is the better choice. Also, if you're looking at the BOOX Tab C Ultra, which is the color tablet that I've been using, I really like it. However, I don't love reading black and white stuff on there because the contrast ratio is quite low. I have to ramp up the front light. But the reMarkable Paper Pro's contrast ratio, while not quite as good as a Kindle Scribe or other monochrome tablets, is better than the BOOX Tab C Ultra. As for who shouldn't buy the reMarkable Paper Pro, the answer is pretty simple. Anyone on a budget. Anyone who needs applications on their e-ink device. But if neither of those things are applicable to you and you do want that more pared back note-taking experience, like I've said a few times, this is a really enjoyable tablet to use. As for honourable mention comments, Mime0706 says reMarkable really is buying every YouTuber on the internet. That is categorically not true because I have not received a penny from reMarkable. Next question. Humphrey Jin wants to know, can it replace an iPad for paperwork? Yeah, in fact, I think this is like a perfect iPad replacement if you have a laptop, a MacBook or a Windows laptop, and a phone, either an iPhone or a foldable phone or a standard Android phone. I wouldn't need an iPad because my phone kind of does everything the iPad does. My MacBook kind of does everything the iPad does that is in between those things. But one thing neither of those do is amazing note-taking and, for me, like I said, comic book or big book reading. So I don't need an iPad for that. An iPad is overpowered and it bombards me with all the notifications that I'm getting on my phone anyway and probably getting on my laptop as well. So I think it's a really great iPad replacement, but do just bear in mind if you need your iPad to run Logic Pro, also Final Cut, as well as Adobe Creative applications, Keynote, etc., then this isn't an iPad replacement. But for those things, I just use my MacBook, and if that's you, then this could be a great iPad replacement. Alan Jacobs super tipped me $2. Pew! Thank you, Alan Jacobs. DogeHoddle789 said, my 72-hour video convinced them not to pick up a reMarkable Paper Pro. That's really good. Convincing some people that you should get it, some people that you shouldn't get it. It's probably a sign that I'm doing something right. So thanks for letting me know. So that has been my mammoth Q&A of the reMarkable Paper Pro. I'm not sure I need to do a full review, but if you still want one, let me know in the comments and I'll endeavor to get that recorded. Hopefully this gives you a really good idea as to what I think, but more to the point answers your specific questions. If you have any more questions, please fire them in the comments section below. Remember, let me know if you do want to see that full review. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do. It's how you stay on top of everything that I do. Thanks for watching.